Welcome to Sideline Talks Sports Podcast Episode 1. Today we have a sports blogger, former research analyst at ITW Consulting Private Limited, a specialist in athlete management, development and identification, and a dear friend of mine, Mr. Hitesh Mangtani. Hello Hitesh, thank you for joining at Sideline Talks. It's an honor that you are here with us.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So let's start with your journey, how the sports journey, how did you enter into the sports industry, who and what inspired you to be here, and how much that sports passion lies behind that.
Uh-huh. So my journey is pretty much similar to everyone else. It's nothing different. We are all part of the same system with our own unique skill sets, core values, thought processes, and a little bit of tweaks and turks. So it's nothing different from anybody else. For me, it just started back as a kid. Like everyone else. Again, a typical Indian bat with a tennis ball, or we call it Costco ball, right? So
Right.
it was all 6 a.m. or 6 p.m. I just looked for opportunities to run out and play with my friends. And regarding my inspiration has always been Rahul Dravid and cricket. I've expressed this in my articles as well, that I used to stand in front of the TV and wait for Rahul Dravid to come out to bat for international match, maybe a test match or ODIs. And I tried to mimic his moves, like walking out to the crease, tapping the bat, or anything and everything for me. So my whole idea of cricket was Rahul Dravid back in the time. And it's not just limited to Rahul Dravid. My list of inspiring characters has been growing. The more I read about people, from Harsha Bhogle to Rahul Dravid to Mrs. Deepa Malik or Simon Toffel, so the list is growing. It's not stopping anywhere. Or if I say that I got inspired just because of one book, one sport, one person, that won't be right. And regarding passion about sport, I have learned this the hard way. If you're not passionate about something, you are just doing it for the sake of it, without any satisfaction. Yeah,
That's so true. That's so true.
that's pretty much me. Yeah.
So we could definitely talk about how the learning phase always has to be there, even if you
Yeah,
are having some kind of inspiration, even if you're having some kind of passion, but learning phase always has to be there. It has to be constant.
exactly,
So
definitely.
how did you enter into market research or being a research analyst? And how would you define the market research, your job at ITW, which you did for the sporting industry and even for the company? How it is over there?
So Karan, in my personal opinion, industry tends to make a cliche out of few things, and market research is surely one of those. There's no doubt about it. If you think about it in a very general manner, we do research, or we do search for things every day. Without doing a proper background check, we won't even buy a 5 rupee or 10 rupee chocolate.
That's true.
To be frank, yeah.
That's so true.
So we would ask questions like what brand it is, how is the taste of the chocolate. We'll ask friends or maybe family members, or we might have seen an ad on the TV of that chocolate, or the cost would be a factor. So in terms of research, your opinion is kind of a research for somebody else, and based on your opinion, they'll be making products, they'll be making strategies, and they'll be developing services for you. So from a sports ecosystem perspective, or I should say sports sector, because in India we have not tagged sports as an industry yet. It is very crucial to have a research in the process, because it gives you a perspective, right? And not just from a brand perspective, from an athlete perspective too. You play sport. I would say you took a conscious decision back when you were playing sport, that should I follow this course of action or not?
Right.
If yes, why? If not, why? Similar for a brand, right? Similar from a brand, because if I'm sponsoring an athlete or an event, I have to see all possibilities, saying if I sponsor this, if I want to sponsor this event, why? And if the athlete, why? And if not, why? So
Right.
both answers are there. So it's pretty much simple, research from my perspective, from what I've learned and what I've did in the market is asking relevant questions and finding proper answers. There's nothing rocket science about it. Yeah.
Okay,
It's really important for us to ask questions, Karan.
right.
If we don't ask questions, we are eliminating the factor of filtration. So what it does is it makes our life simpler, rather than we getting stuck in a bubble of saying what should I do from here. If I ask questions, right, that bubble, the size of the bubble decreases and my answering capabilities increase, rather than just me being stuck in that in that bubble and asking questions, how can I get out of it, rather than asking how can I get better. Yeah.
That's hmm.
Yeah.
And what was the approach or the framework or steps you took when you had got a task from ITW?
Uh-huh.
What did you perform in market research? Like what were the steps which you took? Like when you got a
Uh-huh.
job, what did you exactly do over there?
So my steps are pretty simple, Karan. There's no rocket science, as I said again.
Hmm.
So I started small. I
Hmm.
kept it simple. I stuck to basics. I asked as many questions as possible.
Hmm.
If I get a brand in hand saying we have this brand who is looking for these opportunities, for
Hmm.
instance,
Hmm.
I'll rather ask, what is the brand first? I
Right.
mean, not from a name perspective, but what it do. And before going to Google, I'll rather ask the person, my boss or anybody else who is coming to me with the questions and maybe
Hmm.
a data point of view. I'll ask questions what the brand does and
Hmm.
what are they looking out of it. If I
Hmm.
want to develop a marketing strategy or I want to get more recognition out in the market,
Hmm.
I would like to know that, because based on that I'll have my own options and potential things I have to do for them in
Right.
terms of how can I get numbers from the market size, and
Hmm.
can I have the numbers for that particular company or not.
Hmm.
The next thing I did was read books and newspapers.
Right.
I got this advice a long time, not a long time back, and it was not my father who gave me that advice. You as a kid you don't listen to your parents. You listen to you learn these things out in the market when you realize it.
Hmm.
So apart from reading books, I reach out to people in the market
Hmm.
to know their perspective, not from a brand perspective, not from a market perspective, but in a general sense. You get to know that how are they thinking, why are they thinking it.
Hmm.
That changes the whole industry, as I
Right.
said. And I didn't just Google the company name or the market name at
Hmm.
the first step.
Hmm.
You have that; those are the last resort. They're not the only options. And slowly and steadily I identified a few patterns, a few techniques of my own. How can I collect data in a very very efficient manner? How can the data look good even if a layman wants to understand? I have to make it so understandable that someone who doesn't know data collection or data for that matter, they should understand that what does that data mean for anybody, for
Hmm.
a expert or for a layman. And then I worked on few tactics for
Hmm.
faster data collection.
Hmm.
I should say, because data collection is very hectic sometimes. You
Hmm.
keep on collecting, and you realize that there is no end to data collection
That's
in
true.
some markets.
Hmm.
If you take an example of cricket matches, right, there
Hmm.
are 100 plus attributes to collect. If it was not automation which was done, which is doing it for us, it would, you imagine the amount of resources we are spending on just data collection, on match number, date, venue, batsman name, batsman right-handed or left-handed, bowler left-handed or right-handed. So these are the few attributes which I'm talking from a sport perspective, but
Hmm.
think of it in a brand perspective. And I kept a record of um, these tactics, patterns, and techniques, so that if I do it over and over again, I become
Hmm.
more confident. So
Right.
that means I have already done that. But
Hmm.
if same task comes from me next time, I
Hmm.
would be able to do it in a more faster way and a very efficient way.
Right.
And it is really critical, Karan, that we as sports management professionals need to understand that it is okay to make mistakes.
Hmm.
You will make mistakes while data collection, you will make mistakes while searching for data, because nobody is perfect, and it is okay to not be perfect. We are here to evolve, right? We are not here to just compete and get the things done. No. With those things, with mistakes we evolve. That's how we learn things. And it's really important for us to learn from those mistakes and learn from them. It's okay to make mistakes, and it's actually important for us to learn from them. That's it. You can make 1,000 mistakes, but if you do it again, that's not coincidence. That might be intention. Yeah.
Right. You speaking about data, I really had this thing in my mind that we had MS Dhoni, who did not rely on any kind of data, but sheer instinct, and was able to be the most successful captain. And also Steve
Yeah.
Jobs for Apple did not conduct any kind of market research, brought products in the market and created a demand for them. So, what, in your opinion, this kind of approach has to be in the industry? That how much importance the sheer instinct or the gut feeling, which we can say, is important in this industry?
Karan, you gave me the answer. It's just gut feeling. So gut feeling comes from your confidence. By doing it over and over again, by making mistakes, by failing more than winning. And in athletes, I would rather connect it from athlete perspective, because sports is very dear to me. So it's been said for athletes that there are more failures than winning moments, and they agree with the fact. And be it regional level, be it national level, be it international level, or be it practice sessions, they fail every time. They would give 80%, but still 20% remaining. So that 20% is experience for you. What can I do to fulfill that 20%? Next time you fill 20%, again there's a gap of 20%. So the more and more you do, the more gaps are built, and those are questions for us to answer, right? And I was told once from one of my friends that there's no shortcut to success.
Right.
You conduct research, you ask questions, you get answers, but they won't guarantee you success, right? They won't guarantee you a win, be it sports sector, IT sector, or any other sector for that matter. What it does is it opens up doors for your opportunities, and so that we can go harder and harder to you go beyond that door, so that we find more doors for that. If we win that challenge, if we win that task, make it a consistent process, so that anything in a similar pattern comes to you, you are already ready for it. If you don't win, that's again a few questions to answer, right? You again have something to work harder and harder enough, so that next time if something like that happens to you, you are already ready for it again. If you win, you are ready. If you lose, you are ready.
Right.
So coming back to Steve Jobs and MS Dhoni, they were masters of self-awareness.
Right.
They knew self-awareness as well as the market awareness. What is the other team doing to counter-attack me? So some people call it arrogance, some people call it selfishness, but their perspective was backed with experience. In a true sense, if you say that is research, right? All your experiences, all your past instances, I mean, that is what makes you better. You may call it data, you may call it opinion, you may call it conscious. So all these things are in your mind already, but all you have to do is get back to them and get answers. Get back to them and get answers.
Right.
I read this once in an article there. Steve Jobs knew what others were working on, be it Microsoft, be it HP. It was something like typical era of stay in the line concept. But it all changed when iPad and iPhones came into picture, revolutionizing the whole industry. Same with MS Dhoni, right? Same with Dhoni. It was all typical Indian or typical wicketkeeper batsman cricket scene in that when he came in. All he did was added a best finisher concept. You place him at number 4, you place it at number 6, you place it at number 7. He'll finish it for you.
Right.
And I wrote an article actually on this wicket keeping batsman era of world cricket. If somebody wants to check it out, I've compared 3 players: Kumar Sangakkara, Adam Gilchrist, and MS Dhoni, because these people are 90s athletes, right? 1996, 1995. So we watched them grow, and we have seen these people making an impact. Kumar Sangakkara was one of the guys who scored 400 in 2015 World Cup, Men's World Cup. And who could have imagined that a wicketkeeper of that sort would be doing, and that to a lefty,
Right.
And Adam Gilchrist again. I remember Gaurav Kapoor's and Saurav Ganguly's Breakfast with Champions talk, and Saurav Ganguly mentioning that Sehwag told us that even if you finish at 8, then Gilchrist would be coming to bat in a test match, and he would score faster runs than anybody else in the team. So these are the kind of things we have to look at, and these are all data backed. You believe it or not, it's all data backed. Either it's your own conscience or it is physical presence of the data. So talking about Steve Jobs and MS Dhoni, they're both legends. So they have their own kind of research in their mind. So we cannot just comment on saying that they're probably wrong or they're right. We know what they did.
Maybe with intense case study research, which we are told to do in our management times, it would help.
Yeah.
I really feel so.
Yeah,
And what is the role of
definitely.
market research for sponsorship to get the companies to partner with, to get the companies on board? Like if we are finding a company for a sporting team, how the approach should be and how market research helps in that?
So, Karan, as I said, research is all about asking relevant questions, finding answers. It can be wrong or it can right. It can be right. It doesn't matter. And making some mistakes, but don't make them intentionally. That you go and make a mistake so that you would learn. No, that is foolishness. Yeah, and in a sports sponsorship market point of view, it's a very complex process because we have to think in terms of trying to figure out the brand's vision, their mission, their core values, their ideology, both in terms of athlete as a brand and company as a brand. So next thing I would say is their current presence in the market. Some would say that public image, and some would say sentiments in the market about that brand. So if you take Cadbury, for example, nobody would say no to a Cadbury. Be it a silk, be it a 10 rupee chocolate, nobody would say no. So these things have to be calculated, but not in a primary way, but they have to be thought of before you go out there and say, no, I want to sponsor this event or I want to sponsor that athlete. I would look at what sort of promotions the brand is doing, or maybe they have done in the past, and what are they trying to do in the future. Are they really willing to invest more in the market, or they are holding themselves back? There are multiple techniques to find it out. You first thing is you read about them, Google, books, market research reports, or there's something coming in newspapers, or somebody you might watch some videos of people talking about share markets or something like that. You might get an information out of it. So there are multiple things to go into that in that zone. I would also look at financials of these companies in terms of expenses, what kind of expenses they are doing. All that data is available on internet. You can, if the company is listed, you would go get the financial reports of the year and stock market results and all that. Second is marketing campaigns, kind of marketing campaigns they have been doing. So there are a hell lot of websites. You can just put the name of the company and they'll tell you what kind of events or sponsorship or any deals they have done in the past, or maybe they are recently associated with some company. They are just coming out with a product or service, and there are a lot of reports which tell about these stories. What kind of brands are associating, what sort of market portfolio is going on in the sports industry, specific to sports I'm talking about. And we also look at senior management profiles, because after all, Karan, we are all human beings. We have that personal factor and the sense of accomplishment attached to it. So we need to profile the senior management as well, because that's when we know are they going to sponsor this event or not. That is really important, because you make a presentation of 20-25 slides, you go there and present your idea. The management is not yet ready because they don't trust in the process. They don't trust in the whole idea. So there's no point of getting so much done from in the back and just going and asking for a neglection. So I can give an example. I did a recent report on Rajasthan Royals and Royal Enfield.
Right.
It was very,
I read that.
So it was a very emotional connection with me, because I'm a super fan of Rajasthan Royals and Royal Enfield, both.
Okay.
So if you remember, if you associated with them, you feel a sense of royalty, right, by the name itself.
Right.
Plus the names rhyme, Royal Enfield and Rajasthan Royals. So that is one. It's lame, but it is still a connection. And the ideology syncs as well, Karan. If you see IPL franchise, Rajasthan Royals, they innovated and started bringing in raw cricketing talent in IPL when it started,
Right.
2008, 2011 time. And Royal Enfield invented, and in terms of off-road biking, Himalayan and terrain-specific bikes.
Right.
So these are few things. And one more, you can say recently that RR launched the Spark initiative for girl cricket development, grassroots development, and recently Royal Enfield launching a campaign of women-specific gear for bike riding. So these are the few factors we can connect. So again, market capitalization. Both brands are very well enough in the market. Both are growing. One is cricket, one is sport, and one is automobile. So how can you connect these both? This is just a few. This is just an example. There are a lot of examples like that in the market.
Okay. So talking about your specialization, that is athlete management. So what role does research plays for grassroots development and even for elite athletes?
So from a grassroots level perspective, Karan, we have to be very careful in terms of what we are looking at, because if we use sports as a medium of communication, we have to be ready in terms of what we are going to tell the kids. Elite athletes, if I'm a 14-year-old kid, I would learn faster than a 28-year-old or 30-year-old kid. Athlete, right? Because I have a sense of the learning gap is more. I can fill that gap early rather than focusing on the money aspect, the brand aspect, and these kind of things. So the reason I'm saying it, because athletes, these grassroots development activities are going to promote young athletes who are going to be a face of our society in the coming years, and they're going to be brand ambassadors of Indian sports ecosystem. So we as teachers, coaches, and sports management professionals who are coming up pretty fast in the market, we have to conduct our own research, that is self-awareness of what we are making out of this industry. Everybody cannot run for brands. Half of the athletes don't even know what they are playing for. They just want to play the sport. All we do is convert them into brands, and then that's how the sports industry grows. But we have to be very conscious of what kind of things we are doing. You would know Antriksh Jaiswal. He's a very dear friend of mine. He shared a thought with me which he learned from his coach a long time back. He said, what kind of kid you want to be in the future? Is it just an athlete, or is it an athlete with a better human being who is a role model for future generations? What is it that you want? So coaches play a huge role, because they are next to parents. Because if athlete is not at home, he's with a coach or a trainer or something. And then management professionals like us who have done sports management or specialized in sport from any domain, who go out there and be the face of their be the faces in the market, saying, if you sponsor this athlete, you will get these kind of things. But what are we associating with them? Is it a different brand which is not allowed? Is it a very good brand and for brand visibility or something? It's very crucial for us to understand those things. I read this in an article where, and I made my own perception about is that athletes are not any other product or a service.
Right.
We might profile them for our own business perspective and business profits and all, but that doesn't mean we own them. We are just rendering their services, and we are paying a good amount for them. And that doesn't mean you have leverage over them anytime soon. Which is, I mean, they are human beings. We should treat them like that.
Right. That's so true. And what are the some kind of innovative ideas which lies there for development of sports in our country?
So that's a really good question, Karan. Actually, we as a society have to constantly evolve. If you ask me, participating in sport, we are all too worried about numbers. Who's going to win? Winner takes it all attitude kind of thing. You might connect with me in that sense.
Hmm.
But numbers don't win you matches. People do, and all numbers do is they lay down a path for you, so that you might or may or may not win a match.
Hmm.
It's nothing more than a support system for you. The numbers and the research I'm talking about, it all comes down to how you react in that instance.
Hmm.
It makes a past experience for you, so that you take it as a reference and then you perform and see did it work for me or not.
Hmm.
So from a grassroots development perspective, again, I would, we are definitely focusing on teaching aspect of physical education perspectives, and
Hmm.
how to be active for life, which is very
Right.
crucial concept for us as a country, because
Hmm.
we are 1.3 billion people.
Hmm.
That's really huge number, and we have to facilitate that, right? So
Hmm.
the grassroots development activities can be supported by community development. And
Hmm.
by community, I don't mean any gender, any race, or any
Hmm.
religion. By community, I mean where you live in. You might be living near 5 to 10 houses.
Hmm.
Can we come together as a society and organize small events,
Hmm.
maybe once a month, once in 6 months, add
Hmm.
sports to that factor,
Hmm.
have a get together with each other.
Right.
Right now, it's not possible because of social distancing and COVID-19 situation.
Hmm.
But are we planning to do it? I'm really not sure. Can we do it? Definitely we can. I mean, there's no harm in doing that, right?
Hmm.
Um, for giving an example in that sector, look at countries like Australia,
Hmm.
England, and New Zealand. They're all
Hmm.
cricket playing nations, but they have a
Hmm.
strong community sports system.
Right.
That supports the whole. Even if you don't make out uh, to be a elite athlete, you're still
Hmm.
athlete for life.
Hmm.
Somebody, you might talk to somebody from New Zealand, or somebody from England who is just a network engineer in some
Hmm.
industry, but if you talk to him, if you connect with him in a regular manner,
Hmm.
you might know that he's a marathon runner, or he did weightlifting for some time.
Right.
So this aspect has to be there for us, and
Hmm.
grassroots development is a very big umbrella, but we
Hmm.
have to find few other options like community development. How
Hmm.
can I make effective community sports systems, so that grassroots development activities can be supported, which is also with the schooling system, Khelo India.
Hmm.
These are all support system for us. So how can we add more arms to it? That is up to us.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, that's very right. And after hearing you, our viewers will definitely want to know that how to become a sports analyst or a market
Uh,
research analyst. So how do you think that one person should have an approach towards it, and what he must study or have prerequisites while going for this kind of a specialization in their future in sports?
mhm. Karan, to be honest, I had the same dilemma. The same type of question. I would not say the same question, but same type of question when I joined SSSS,
Hmm.
and I just wanted to be a sports manager, not a cricket manager.
Hmm.
I know cricket because I played cricket at certain level. I have read about cricket, but
Hmm.
I got a very unique advice from one of my friends. He's now an elder brother to me. His
Hmm.
name is Prasid Prakash, and it
Yeah.
was a very wonderful advice for me. You might
Hmm.
know him.
Hmm.
He said, as I said in the previous steps I took for the to do a task. He said that start small, just start one sport at a time.
Hmm.
One sport at a time, one topic at a time. You might read one athlete management, you might read sports analytics.
Hmm.
Start small, don't rush into things. The second step is don't rush into things, keep it simple, because if you rush into things, right, you miss the fun of going through the process of it. And these are his advices, and these are not I'm just adding a level of examples to it, but
Hmm.
see it as a process.
Hmm.
He said that stick to basics.
Hmm.
Read, understand, learn. Read, understand, learn. It's a cycle. You have to do it again and again, again and again, so
Hmm.
that you become more comfortable with reading. Be it
Hmm.
reading novels, be it reading newspapers, be it reading
Hmm.
books or articles, whatever you like.
Hmm.
If you want to, do something, you have to invest time in that. There's no
Hmm.
shortcut. Again, I said, there's no shortcut to success.
Hmm.
Ask as many questions as possible. You
Yeah.
might sound stupid, but to be frank, curiosity is the first step to success.
Right.
Now, think of it in a bigger way. If
Hmm.
you're not curious about something, there's
Hmm.
no point you would think beyond a certain bar,
Hmm.
right? again, I said read books, read newspapers.
Mm-hmm.
I read this interesting line somewhere in the newspaper or some article. I remember they said books and newspapers helped in the invention of internet, not the other way around. So if
Mm-hmm.
you want to look around for something, try books first, try
Mm-hmm.
articles, try newspapers first. If you don't get the answers, then go to internet, because that's a larger picture. But at least try the original resources first, right?
That was very
And
well said. That was very well
yeah,
said.
I
Really.
remember because I read it somewhere, in a very um, normal manner, but it
Mm-hmm.
starts clicking you once you get onto things, hands-on experiences and all. So
Mm-hmm.
um, you have to build your own base first. You can't just rush into going for advanced tools, data collection management, programming and all that. Programming is a very different concept again.
Mm-hmm.
If you are from a technical background, then you will be able to be more comfortable with R programming and analytic programming and all that. But if you're not, you have to
Mm-hmm.
invest time in that, and you have to learn the
Right.
logic. In programming, there's one thing, because I can say it because I have a technical background too.
Mm-hmm.
I've done my BCA,
Mm-hmm.
so I have that backing of knowing the technology
Mm-hmm.
and systems and all these
Mm-hmm.
things. So I can say uh, you have to understand the logic first. If you can
Mm-hmm.
build the logic, then the programming is easier for you. If you can't build the logic, there's no point of
Mm-hmm.
running into things and doing the programming again and again, because that will be redundant. You are
Right.
doing the same thing again, not getting the result. So there's no point of investing time if you are wasting it. If you want to
Mm-hmm.
invest time, then utilize it fully.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
something which I would say, that advice I got from Praseed. If somebody
Mm-hmm.
follows it in a very daily manner, or
Mm-hmm.
very usual manner,
Mm-hmm.
in maybe 2 to 3 years, they might become research analyst, some other position they would like.
That's so true. That's so true. And what are the challenges that you faced being a research analyst?
um, Frankly, Karan, there are no research specific challenges. It's all in your head, to be frank.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather say challenges were to be updated all the time,
Mm-hmm.
because you have access to so much data that
Mm-hmm.
you kind of get lost um, in searching for something, and then you
Mm-hmm.
forget the whole objective. So I had to be very conscious about what type of things I'm going to do for a
Mm-hmm.
particular task. I have
Mm-hmm.
time for other things as well. I can read, I can do my own work, but
Mm-hmm.
I, I have to be very specific about what the outcome of this task or this presentation has to be, when I'm talking from a client perspective.
Mm-hmm.
So um, I used to jot down pointers. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I used to search some relevant questions. If I'm
Mm-hmm.
not getting answers from you know my immediate boss or somebody in the company who is directly dealing with the client, I used to ask them the questions.
Mm-hmm.
And if I can find the best possible answer, it's okay. Otherwise, I used to get back to books.
Mm-hmm.
Start reading some novel, or some sport book which you like, or certain books which you have. You feel that you're more comfortable with. It helps you get
Mm-hmm.
relaxed a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So that helps you a bit, and it opens up your mind about building your own perception about it. So that again helps you come up with an idea. So I wouldn't say that research specific challenges were there, but yeah,
Mm-hmm.
these are challenges which you will feel anywhere in the industry, be it
Mm-hmm.
IT, be it sports, be it
Right.
as a blogger. I faced a lot of challenges.
Mm-hmm.
It's not in a sports specific or research specific. It's industry
Mm-hmm.
specific. There's no doubt about it.
Right. So, ITW is like one of the best consulting companies in India right now.
Yeah.
And how was your life and experience at ITW? ITW? And obviously, you cracked that interview, the GD process, and everything. So, for the viewers who are looking this podcast,
Uh-huh.
what kind of suggestion would you like to give to them that how to crack an interview to get placed in such kind of company?
Current ITW was another learning curve for me.
Mm,
I In terms of learning importance about the viewership, the
mm,
costs associated with brand management, and to be
mm,
specific, sports brand management. So
mm,
those were the things which I only could read, but could not get a hands-on experience to. But
mm,
that was, again, as I said, it was a learning curve for me, and it
mm,
was a really important one, because I now have access to a few perspectives which I never had before.
Hmm.
And to be honest, my preparation was all the content I had put in before the interviews, the one-on-one discussions with the managers, with recruitment officers, through my articles and blogs. So
Hmm.
I started last year writing
Hmm.
blogs and articles,
Hmm.
but um, be it sales, be it marketing, all I did was prepare myself for those kind of um, interview questions.
Hmm.
But I already had those answers because I had done few articles where I researched
Right.
about how the sales happens for athlete management, or
Hmm.
for a brand in that matter who wants to associate it or get associated with sports. So I
Hmm.
had those answers, but sports being a dynamic industry, it kind of
Hmm.
challenges you with
Hmm.
few things. So I was ready with all the questions in terms of what kind of hands-on um,
Hmm.
task they would give me
Hmm.
while face-to-face interviews or before an interview. So I was ready for these things. All I did was be ready for those challenges,
Hmm.
and once you um, once you see the opportunity, right, just
Hmm.
grab it, learn
Hmm.
from it, and move on. Don't just get stuck there and see, I achieved this. No, that
Hmm.
means you have a next challenge to achieve. So
Right.
I was ready, always ready for the challenges. Like
Hmm.
now I'm ready, be it
Hmm.
anything.
Right. That would be very helpful for the viewers who are looking for a job right now or looking to enter
uh,
into the sports industry. It would be very
yeah,
helpful for them. And
yeah.
last, not the least, Symbiosis School of Sports Sciences. It gave us a great opportunity to pursue our passion in sports. So, how Symbiosis School of Sports Sciences helped you to pursue your passion in sports?
Karan, this is my favorite question of the interview. You know how I feel, and to tell you that my association with Symbiosis has been since 2011, when
Hmm.
I joined SICSR as
Hmm.
part of my Bachelor of Computer Applications course.
Hmm.
Even then, I was very exclusively involved with playing sport, organizing sport, and
Hmm.
cultural activities, or working with
Hmm.
Symbiosis International University events.
Hmm.
In Lavale campus or my campus. So it
Hmm.
was it was from that time 2011 till 2020. I'm still there.
Hmm.
So and when I heard about Symbiosis School of Sports Sciences, that too sports management, there was no
Hmm.
second thought that I wouldn't be applying for sports sciences
Hmm.
in 2016.
Hmm.
And especially when it comes to sports management, I was looking for to switch from my IT background, from Wipro Technologies to sports background. If you have an opportunity, just grab it. You
Hmm.
don't, once you wait for 15 or maybe more years to get into sports, somehow
Hmm.
you started from an athlete perspective, now from a management perspective. Once you see an opportunity, just grab it. Don't have
Right.
second thoughts. You can have your own conscious decision that I made a wrong decision, right decision. That's up to you. But
Hmm.
if you have worked hard enough, right,
Hmm.
you'll see the results in some time. There's no doubt about it. And to to tell everyone that I take a lot of pride in saying that I'm an SSSS alumni,
Hmm.
because I feel I'm the luckiest batch which we had till now, because we got an opportunity to choose talent management as a specialization,
Hmm.
uh, where we had an opportunity to interact with one of the best experts in the market who are into athlete management
Hmm.
with Sports Authority of India from a long time, or for the grassroots development companies for a long time.
Hmm.
So I could name a few, Parag Mahajan sir, who gave us
Right.
wonderful advices as part of project management. And I
Hmm.
would like to show you this. He suggested us this book, Who Moved My Cheese.
Right.
Wonderful book if you want to read. And I also got an opportunity to read Simon Toffel's book, Finding the Gaps, which
Hmm.
actually helped me understand a few things in terms of the task he has given us in the book,
Hmm.
where you realize that what are your gaps, where are you missing the points, and if
Hmm.
you're missing the points, how would you find answers?
Hmm.
So if SSS were not there giving me those opportunities, I wouldn't be here talking about athlete management, sports management, and research analytics.
Right.
So I'm very thankful to SSS, and I'm proud to be an SSS alumni. There's no doubt about it.
That's so true. That's so true. And it was perfect blend of answers, and it was very informative in terms of market research in sports and as well as in athlete recognition, development, and management. And also, you shared your life at ITW and Symbiosis School of Sports Sciences. Thank you so much, Hitesh, for coming and joining with us. And I hope to see you in person soon.
Thank you, Karan. Thank you for having me. It was a very wonderful decision for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Hitesh.